Wilkinson's, or Wilko as it was better known, was a staple of Britain's high streets until its collapse into administration in 2023. Whilst its name will live on after the purchase of its intellectual property by the Range, its high street presence has all but been extinguished. Let's take a look at how it happened. The first Wilkinson store was opened in Leicester in 1930 at 151 Charnwood Street by James Kemsey Wilkinson and his fiancée Mary. The store was called Wilkinson Cash Store, and the founder's philosophy was to sell quality goods at discount prices. With Britain finally emerging from one of the worst recessions that left 1 in 5 people unemployed, the strategy soon paid off, with Wilkinson opening a second store within a year. By 1939 there were 6 stores, with 2 of these coming from Kemsey's brother Donald Wilkinson, who had also opened 2 hardware stores in Birmingham. Donald became a director of the company and remained in this role until his death in 1999. During World War II, James signed up to the Royal Armoured Corps and worked in the mines to keep the country going. Wilkinson stayed open during the war, helping customers keep their air raid shelters well stocked. 3 shops in Leicester were forced to close after the first air raid in Leicester, but they were trading again by the time the war ended in 1945. It was also during the war that the Jowett van was used as the company's first motorized transport for customer deliveries. The 50s saw the rise of DIY, with more and more customers looking to improve their homes. Wilkinson provided the supply for this, introducing a number of decorating and home improvement products. 11 more shops were opened and the company enjoyed annual turnover of £300,000. Wilko opened its biggest store to date at Charles Street in Leicester. The company's stores were traditionally located on high streets in order to be close to customers and featured a broader range of products than typical hardware stores. In 1960, Tony Wilkinson, the founder's son, was appointed as the branch manager at Charles Street in Leicester after a stint at fellow retailer Woolworths. His commitment to the firm's employees saw him appointed the company's first personnel manager. He was later appointed chairman and oversaw a period of unparalleled growth for 33 years. A number of family members have been involved in the business over the years. The company had 20 stores, and this growth required an expansion not only to its headquarters but also its distribution facilities. In the late 1960s, Wilkinson moved to Worksop and constructed a new head office and distribution centre. The site also featured a full-scale mock-up of a typical Wilkinson store to test new floor plans, formats and products. Wilkinson initially wanted to build the warehouse in Leicestershire, but they did not receive planning permission, so built in Worksop instead. Under Gordon Brown's leadership at CEO, the IT system was upgraded to include a stock prediction program for a full year that saw it beat competitors on weekly sales. The company also cashed in on supermarkets moving from prime city centre sites to out-of-town retail to snap up empty units in central locations. The 1970s saw a continued transformation from traditional hardware shops to customer-friendly retail stores. The company started to produce its own product ranges, starting with paints and gardening products, which quickly established Wilkinson as a trusted home and garden retailer. Their commitment to low prices during difficult economic climates helped it attract a number of new customers. 1973 saw the brand's first advertising campaign featuring the brand's own paint with the slogan Lovely Paint starring Windsor Davies. Wilkinson focused on selling products at a low price and focused on own brand goods, which accounted for a significant proportion of the company's sales. During the 80s, distribution improved drastically, with external haulage companies being used to deliver stock to the growing footprint of Wilkinson stores around the UK. After a major review, the decision was made to stop selling lawn mowers and greenhouses. Instead, the focus was placed on items customers bought often and could be carried home, like cleaning products and pet food. In the 90s, work began on the Manton Wood Warehouse and Distribution Centre, opening in 1995. The development of the site was a large risk that cost £35 million when the company was only worth £20 million. It gave Wilkinson the company to grow and open another 1 million square foot warehouse in Wales in 1999. By the end of the decade, there were 152 shops open across the UK. Wilkinson remained committed to centre-of-town locations, despite the growing success of out-of-town commercial zones and the rising number of competitors who focused on superstore models. By then, Wilkinson was entering a new growth phase, becoming one of the fast-growing retailers in the United Kingdom. Throughout the 90s, the chain grew at an average of 20% per year. Part of this success was the willingness to expand beyond the traditional hardware and DIY market. Over 25,000 items were on offer, attracting customers to the stores. In 1992, the 100th store was opened, with Wilkinson continuing to offer shoppers value for money, the original idea of his father's for the chain. By 1999, nearly 160 stores were open, all backed by the Worksop distribution centre and a haulage fleet of more than 500 vehicles. Most of the stores were located in the Midlands and the North, but expansion was planned in Wales and the South East. The company focused on becoming the first stop for customers on the high street, keeping shelves well stocked so customers would be confident to come to Wilko first, to buy the items they wanted before looking elsewhere. When Tony retired from Wilkinson in 2005, he went out in style with a record turnover of £1.1 billion being reported. The third generation took over the chain, with Tony's daughter Lisa and Karen Swan running the business. However, the partnership did not last, as Karen sold her stake in the company to Lisa for £68 million in 2014. In 2008, Wilkinson opened a number of new look shops in Sheffield, Leicester and Walton-on-Thames. Wilko Asia also opened in 2008. The rebrand continued, with a further 80 shops being refurbished in 2010. The Wilkinson name was shortened to Wilko, and a new tagline, "Where there's a Wilko, there's a way," was introduced. However, Wilko's success on the high street brought competitors in the form of the B&M, the 99p shop and Poundland to the market. In more recent times, Wilko trade from the low-cost model, paying costly sums to consultants who redesigned stores who were less focused on aggressive pricing on the shop floor. In 2018, Wilko Asia expanded into India, opening an office in Delhi and later Istanbul. On the sustainability side, 100% plastic-free wipes are launched across Wilko's entire range, saving 15,000 tons of plastic in its first year of production. During the pandemic, Wilko developed Community Care Package to support those families affected by the outbreak, with over £1 million worth of product being donated. The company stayed open during the pandemic, refusing to furlough staff and close stores. Sales suffered as footfall on high streets fell by some 40%. By 2021, Wilko.com has 2 million visits per week. High street pressure has increased, with B&M and Home Bargains offering similar products and low prices. The lower stock levels in stores meant customers showed at rivals, with revenue reducing from £1.6 billion in 2018 to £1.3 billion in 2022. Fingers were pointed at Lisa and the management team under her, who, according to former managing director Gordon Brown, did not follow their successful model of low price, low cost. In January, the directors warned that Wilko could run out cash by the end of the year if trading deteriorated further. A loss of £36.7 million was recorded in January 2022 from a £4.3 million profit in 2022. The owners took dividends of £2.25 million and £750,000 over the same period, starving the company of investment. Wilko did try to stabilise itself by borrowing £40 million from restructuring specialists Hilco and selling and leasing back its Nottinghamshire distribution centre for £48 million to pay down debt. The disastrous mini-budget under Liz Truss's government in October 2022 did not help Wilko's cause after the rise in interest rates due to it caused Australian investor Macquarie to pull out of loan talks as interest rates spiked. Wilko hadn't previously carried debt and had £100 million in the bank in 2021, but the problems ramped up. However, it was too late, as in August 2023, the company went into administration, putting 12,000 jobs at risk. In recent years, a CVA process where the company would be allowed to seek rent cuts from its landlords was also explored. Last-minute talks were held with a number of interested parties, with a last-minute rescue deal from entrepreneur Doug Putnam, who has turned around HMV and Toys R Us in Canada falling through. Competitor The Range acquired the Wilko brand, which will now operate as an online store. The company owed an estimated £548 million to unsecured creditors, including its own pension scheme, and suppliers including Unilever and Procter & Gamble were left entirely out of pocket. There was also a gap in the pension fund of some £50 million, with concerns that the taxpayer will pick up the bill for this. Fingers have been pointed at Wilko's auditor Ernst & Young, who failed to state the dire situation that the company was in after the audit in 2022. EY waited to sign off the accounts once the sale of Wilko's warehouse had been sold and leased back, providing a cash injection which allowed the business to be declared a going concern. The company also spent £60 million on a warehouse modernization program that went wrong and lost £40 million on foreign exchange deals. These losses made it difficult to raise money from investors and banks to restructure the business and cut rents, which may have allowed the company to survive. In the end, Wilko ran out of cash before it could enact a turnaround plan to save the chain. The costly high street locations, coupled with the cut-price goods with low margins, meant that it was always going to struggle in the long term. Rivals are often based on industrial estates or out-of-town locations which feature parking and lower rents. Wilko was unable to compete with the value chains such as Home Bargains and the range on price or design with the likes of Dunelm or IKEA, leaving it with little room to maneuver. The collapse of Wilko follows other high-profile collapses of Sir Philip Green's retail empire, Debenhams, and the corner shop chain McColl's that was later purchased by Morrisons. Thank you for watching this video, and until next time.